going to transition now back to my computer. So um, don't go anywhere yet because I think it's yep, there it goes. Okay, so now I'm on my computer. I am getting off of my phone. So this is going to be funny. Transition. So, anyways, so I do thank you guys for who have participated in donating money um, to help me get the ganglion stellate ganglion blocks that I need. I need to do it twice a month, every 2 weeks, and it will it
Now I'm on my phone. I don't know what the heck happened.
it will help reduce the pain that I go through daily. Uh, in a pretty a pretty um, big scale, I guess, or I don't know how to say that. I'm tired. I'm sorry, but it will do. It'll reduce the pain a great deal, and I'm not going to be pain free, but it's just kind of a thing that they can do. They stick this needle in a little tube thing, and it goes in your neck, and they put it. It takes like 30 to 40 minutes to put this like numbing whatever medicine around your spine, the nerves that come from your spine, and so on, and and so doing that twice a month, along with other therapy, um, should bring me a lot more comfort and give me help me be a lot more mobile and and hopefully eventually I can get used to that, and then I can get back to some normalcy. But it's been a crazy ride so far. But back to what we're talking about here. Um, it is, I talked about this the other night where, I don't understand why the police departments can't get rid of the bad seeds. Why can't police departments get rid of, they know that they exist, they admit it, but yet they don't do the job to get rid of that element. All police are not bad. Like, I know I'm friends with plenty of police officers in various states. FBI folks, DEA. I mean, I know all kind of folks. Awesome, but there is an element, admittedly so, and they keep on getting away with it. There's even statistics about that where there's like I don't know if I wrote this down or not, but there's a I'll have to find it. Here's one. Black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by a police officer than white people. What? We're 13% of the population, but 3 times more likely to be killed. We're 1.3 times more likely to be murdered, murdered or shot, abused in some fashion, and unarmed, as we are unarmed. So what happens is that somebody will say he's got a gun, but he doesn't really have a gun, or somebody will say he's got a weapon, but he doesn't really have a weapon, and so that's the thing, and so then we will end up with another harmed or murdered black man, women, or youth, and it's just it's sick to know that you can have only 13% of the population and know that your survival rate when you walk outside the door, not from some random stranger, not from another violent person somewhere, not from a car crash, but from the people who are supposed to be protecting and serving you, because they're not getting rid of those elements of bad stuff that are there. Because, again, I repeat, I love police. They're not all bad, but they're not getting rid of the element that is bad. And so we don't know which element it is. We don't know. When police roll up on us, we don't know which one it is, if it's the good guy or the bad guy. So we're scared already. We're already on the defensive. I don't understand why people don't get that. Like it is not just a situation where everything's all going along swimmingly. No, we are conditioned already to be on alert the minute you see a light. Look, I remember when I was driving around, which I can't do so often now. When I was driving around all the time, man, look, if I saw a light flash, or flash too hard, flash by me or whatever, I already thought it was the police and I'm getting ready to pull over. And the nerves and the sweats. Do you have to do that? No. I already, when I go into Walmart or go into a clothing store or go into a bookstore or go into any kind of store, if a police officer happens to be walking in there too, I'm already petrified. I'm already thinking about, what do I do? You don't have to do that. We face a whole different thing. This is what I was going to tell you earlier. So, when I was talking to one of the guys on Jamie Jameson's site the other day, and I'm just giving him promo, I guess, for free. Again, I thought he was a friend of mine and good musician, and we were like musical brothers, but also friends. And until he started the garbage yesterday and he calling me names and all kind of stuff, it was crazy. When I was just trying to tell him stuff like this, which now I'm sure he sees that I was right about it. But the point is that, and trust me, I'm not proud that I was right. I'm just letting you know that I was right. So, anyways, but there was a guy, a country dude he had a cowboy hat on his picture, and like I was going to say, he was like, I think he's in a country band part-time or something. Anyways, this guy is trying to tell me how much jobs were created under Trump, and I said, no, that's not true. Not self-sustaining wages. That's not the case. If you want to just count any kind of job, like I was telling you about already, if you want to count McDonald's and you want to count, bagging groceries as jobs, then okay, good. But it ain't paying the bills. Okay, so those are the numbers that they use, which makes it so screwy. Because most of us want to work. So because we want to work, we'll take whatever job we can get until we find something better. But that doesn't mean that it's paying the bills. So again, and what's funny is that you can tell that if you want to be smart, if you want to be so smart, all you have to do is look online and find out how many black people are on some form of welfare scenario that still work, because those statistics are there too. And most of the people who have these quote-unquote jobs that people are raving about, which are McDonald's and Burger King and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Wendy's, all these people also have to have benefits from the government too, because it doesn't pay the bills. So while somebody is sitting in the office trying to tout how many jobs they got for black people, they're not telling you the truth about the jobs. It's not good enough to just have a job. You have to have a good paying job. And let me be clear. We're not just taking McDonald's jobs and Burger King jobs and whatever because we don't qualify for the other jobs. Again, as I told you the other day, we don't have the inroads to those jobs. We don't have the technology in our schools so that we can compete for those jobs. But we have the grades and the diplomas and the college. But some things get left by the wayside because maybe we had to do more supporting the family, so it took us a little longer to get out of college. Or maybe, look, there's so many variables that are involved. But we're qualified, but we don't have the same inlets or outlets. And it's sad because because what ends up happening is that when you're stuck in a situation like that, then your whole life changes and spirals out of control. Why? Because you don't have opportunity, which you guys think we do, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not telling you that nobody is able to find a way out of a situation. That's not what I'm saying. But we shouldn't have to be trying to find ourselves out of a situation. Because, look, I'm not saying that there's not white folks who have to go through it too, but it's not the majority of your story. You know what I mean? Look, it is because of all these things in our system that we are dying every day now for. The kid who after all of this stuff that happened Sunday, this kid is with some other armed citizens, quote unquote, protecting the businesses, which they weren't, and they're shooting people. They're shooting protesters, not looters. They're shooting protesters. People who shouldn't even have a gun in their hand because they're freaking just wildly shooting, and as one of the witnesses was there said that the kid who shot looked like he was freaking, like he was out of his mind scared, and so because of that, 2 people end up dead. We're not even sure how many others yet. Several injured. Somebody shot in the head. Somebody shot in the stomach. And the kid was not just militia. The kid had stuff on his Facebook about being white nationalist. I'm and you guys will deny that too, even though it's right there, because you learned a valuable lesson over these almost 4 years of Donald Trump, and that is that if you say it didn't happen, then it didn't happen. The evidence doesn't matter. Actuality doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's right there in front of your face happening. What matters is that if you say, this is the school of Trump, if I say that it didn't happen, even, let me give it to you this way. If I punch you in the face, and then I tell you that I did not just punch you in the face, you now have to believe me because I said it. Doesn't matter what I did. I said it, and so because I said it, then that's the way it is. That is the Trump way. He can say he's a Christian. He can stand in front of, get peaceful protesters pushed out of the way so that he can get a photo op in front of a church. Don't even know how to hold a Bible. As a matter of fact, there is a picture. I'm going to put this up tonight. There is a picture of a leader of another country who died. I don't want to give it away too much, but it is an exact replica of what Trump did, and it should give you some insight into what's going on here. But all that being said, this is painful for black people. It is painful for us to keep on seeing us die. It is painful for us to keep on seeing that no matter what we say, how much we put our fists in the air, it doesn't matter how much we complain and show you, and now I guess it doesn't even matter that we're taking videos of it because of our quote unquote leader. You're being programmed and told that you can just ignore all that stuff. You can ignore whatever actually happens if Trump tells you can. And if that's the way, if that's what he tells you, if he says nope, there's good people on both sides, then that means that you can just go ahead and ignore the murderous, hateful, abusive, prejudiced, racist things that are happening against black folk. You can just ignore that because Trump said it's cool. It's cool with him. It's cool with him, and it's cool with his cronies. It's cool with his yes men like Tim Scott and that old guy that looks like a turtle. And I'm sorry I'm being mean now, but I can't help it. I'm switching back to my phone for a minute. Maybe I'll just keep doing both. I don't know. So I just want you guys to understand that this is not this is not complaining to complain. This is not talking just to talk. I've been trying to tell you for a few months now. Maybe I should have started sooner. I've been trying to tell you what's happening and where it's going and where it's heading. And hi, man, I'm glad you're back. Did you get to talk to my brother further? Because I didn't even see all that stuff happening until I got to look later. But anyways, I have my computer on and I have you on my phone, so it's pretty cool. I'm like doing like I don't know what this is that I'm doing, but it's weird and I'm just doing it. But what I was saying is that you know, it has come to a place in this country where it doesn't matter what the truth is anymore. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how racist or hey Joe, you're back too. It doesn't matter how racist people are. It doesn't matter how many people get murdered. It doesn't matter how people get many black people get trampled on. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any of that. All that matters is that to this huge portion of white America, the only thing that matters is that whatever Trump says. I don't know what kind of spell he put on you guys. I don't know what kind of, well, not all of you, but I don't know what kind of spell, what kind of, you know, voodoo, shit bang boom type of thing he did to you. But whatever it is, however he hypnotized you, it's insane. Like, I don't think that there's ever been something like that. Maybe Jonestown or something like that. I don't even know if you guys remember that, but maybe something like that is equal in some fashion. But what he is doing is tearing apart people. And it's like we weren't torn apart enough to begin with before him. And he's done a masterful job at supporting anything that is racist, hateful, and ugly. And the problem is that white folks are falling for it, and a very few minority element of black folks, like the freaking Hodgkin twins or whatever the heck their names are, who are just getting paid, and they're making a fool out of people, because one day I'm sure that they're going to come out the closet and be like, hey, guess what? We just got all your money. And cool, if that's the way they want to do it. But I'm not selling my soul out for that. I want people to get right with each other. I want people to get on the right page, the right side of this thing, and get rid of racism, not deny it. Not deny the existence of what this country was founded upon, because that makes absolutely no sense. The flag and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the national anthem, these things were created when we weren't even considered a voice or a people. We were considered a property and a work tool. We were considered an animal, and that's what the country was founded upon. It doesn't matter what the words say. Look, right now, I can tell you guys I'm a millionaire, but if you look in the background, it looks like I'm probably not a millionaire. But, so it's just words. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, guess what? All. Who the hell is all? Because we weren't involved in all. You know, when we say Black Lives Matter, again, we're not saying that all lives don't matter, like you guys like to point out, or blue lives and whatever else. What we're saying is that since the inception, since the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and all the other crap, guess what? We weren't included in liberty and justice for all men created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights. We weren't, oh yeah, you thought I didn't have no knowledge. Okay, so anyways, we weren't included in all. We weren't included in we the people to form a more perfect union. We weren't we weren't part of that. We weren't part of laws. We weren't part of votes. We talk about I tried to break down the definition between the republic that we were quote unquote supposed to be and a democracy, and how it basically has now become kind of an infused version of the two. And I spelled it out. Look at look at Sunday's episode, and you can get all the information of that. I broke it way down for you and spelled it all out, gave you definitions and everything. And but we've become this mixture of both that basically encourages what's the word, deception, because the minute something or someone that represents something hateful becomes the majority, for example in the Senate, the minute that happens, I'm not telling you that everybody is that our Democrats are good. I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is that when you have a more hateful majority on one side, then it automatically becomes corrupt. It automatically becomes lopsided. It automatically becomes more ugly. Let me give you a little couple stats, and I'm going to go through stuff. I'm shooting stuff in and out because my head is just spinning because of everything that's been going on, and it's like I'm trying to make sure that I do some of the things that I'm supposed to do, which is to help bring some knowledge to this stuff too. But let me what was I going to say? I was going to say that hold on, let me see my notes because I have some stuff here. So here's something. So remember I said a minute ago, I said, well, how when you have part of the government, I don't care if it's 3-party, 12-party, 2-party, 10-party, doesn't matter. Whoever sits in the majority is going to then dictate, obviously, what happens in this country, because it is not truly a republic. It is not truly a democracy. It's kind of like a little mixed potpourri of several different concepts, but now more right-leaning, or in other words, more conservative, i.e., because conservative, there's nothing wrong with conservatism in the true definition of the word, not in the political sense of the word. Political sense of conservatism sucks, but to be conservative about stuff, I'm conservative about my money, I'm conservative about my food, I'm conservative about spending. So you have to take the correct definition of the word in order to make it make sense. You have to apply the right definition. So since Republicans, this is just a quick stat. Since Republicans have led, or whenever Republicans are in rule, or the predominant number in Senate or Congress or whatever, if they they're appointing judges like they did, like underneath and in the quiet during Trump's term, they went and nominated all kind of districts and state judges to seats. While nobody was paying attention, they did this, and well, I was paying attention, and probably a lot of other people, but some of you folks weren't. And so when they did that, what happens is, and this is factual, you can look it up on any.org, any government website, .gov, and what you'll find out is that under Republican judges, they sentenced black people to at least 3 more months in prison for the same crime that a white person gets 3 less months for. Remember, I was talking to you a few weeks ago about that whole paid prison monopoly, prison business system, the farming prison system, and I was explaining all that to you. And this is literally a fact. You can look this up, and you will find it out. You can look at a murder for, say, a strong arm murder for a white person, and a strong arm murder for, robbery. So strong arm robbery for a white person, and then a strong arm robbery for a black person. Look up a petty theft for a white person, petty theft for a black. If you look up all these things, you will find that there are there are in most cases at least 3 more months when the crime deserves prison set to, and that means at least that. It could be way more than that, but at least 3 more months on a black sentence than there is on a white sentence. This is not an opinion. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the truth. You can find this information yourself. Oh, hey, you guys are there. So again, these are the things that we talk about when we're saying to you that there is systemic racism. These are the things that we're crying out to you when we see another black man get murdered. And this kid was young life, and he wasn't murdered yet. He's alive, but he's going to have to live his life, at least as far as we know now, as a vegetable. He's paralyzed. It's just crazy. Thank you, Amanda. Oh, you gotta go? Alright, hey, I love you, Amanda. Be cool. Because for those who are incredibly naive, all lives matter is rhetoric for the sole purpose of racist diversion. That is correct, Joe. And the only reason that I mentioned all lives mattering is because to God, that's supposed to be the precept of what we live under. The problem is that that's not what this country was built under. This country was not built, even though it's worded in Bill of Rights and in the Constitution and in the Star Spangled Banner, National Anthem, whatever the heck you call it, or both. That's not how this country was built, and because it wasn't built that way, it still hasn't become that way. And white people deny it, and then we live and have to suffer the consequences of it being that way. And we have to sit around having people tell us, no, you're just playing the race card. Or we have to sit around letting people say, just get over it. Just move past it. Why are you living in the past? Well, we're not. We're living in the present. And in the present, it's still happening. In the present, we're still getting killed. We're still getting lynched. We're still getting murdered. We're still being oppressed. We don't have to drink out of a different water fountain. So what does that mean? We had one black president. So what does that mean? You had 44 of them. We had one. You know, it's so funny. No, it's not even funny. It's freaking sad that really you want us to be happy with the scraps, just like when in slavery. You want us to be happy with the whatever crumbs you throw out at us. So okay, we got one president that was black, and you still want to chastise him. You want to pretend that he's not black because he's something else. You want to pretend that he's not an American citizen. I mean, make up your mind. You gave us that. That's how you guys look at it. You gave us one in your land. It's your America. What? We did most of the work. How's it your America? That coach last night used to be the coach for Boston, and now he's the coach for the Clippers. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. My bad. But he was saying a heartfelt thing, and he was kind of breaking down, and it literally is the truth. And I broke down like 49 times a day just watching the video and just watching the response from other black folk. And our hearts are breaking. Our spirits are breaking. Our souls are breaking. And I said this earlier. I said, why is it like Mandy's awesome. She reaches out and let's see who have Kathy Searles and Chad and Scott and a bunch of people that I have working relationships and also friendships with. They reach out. My pastor Tim from X Church in Lithopolis, Ohio, where I used to work, and several others. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention your names, but my boy Heath and they got this awesome show they do in the middle of the night. It's cool. Them boys are cool too, and but I guess my point is that in a time like this, when all this stuff is happening, I put the challenge out weeks ago. I know my brother Joe was there. I think Mandy was there too. Paulie was there. A bunch of other folks in and out, and I put the challenge out to all of my white friends, all of my white schoolmates, all of my white ex co-workers, all the white folks that I've met and had relationship, rather it be in ministry, rather it be in regular bands or school, whatever. I put the challenge out that to reach out to some black folks to engage in the conversations about these things that exist with other white folks, and to talk to some of your black friends and or family and find out the truths behind this stuff, to get opinions and answers and experiences from the people who actually live it. And it saddens me, and I think I said it earlier, saddens me that nobody, let me say it again, except for the people that I just mentioned and some of my close people, none of my Stahl High School friends have reached out talking about, are you okay? Is everything all right? We know that you're doing this thing. You're trying to combat racism. Everything cool? How you doing with all this stuff that's going on? None. Zero. I haven't seen a post. I haven't seen a thread. I haven't seen... No, where are you guys? Why isn't it appalling to you? Why isn't it breaking your heart? Why aren't you sitting around with tears, full of tears, and calling every black person you know and just offering condolences and whatever for all of this stuff? Again, I told you, there's only been 12 days in this whole year so far that police ain't murdered somebody. 12. 28% which are black. We only make up 13% of the population. What are you doing? I'm going to start going by. I'm going to create a little message, and I'm going to go to all my white friends, and I'm going to put a same message of them, asking them. All I'm going to say is, hey, what are you doing? Or, what are you doing to help me? Or, what are you doing to help black people? Or, are you really my friend? Something like that. Because we need you to stand up. If you are our friends, you should be standing up. What has happened in the past 3 days should have you so hurt and distraught and worried about all the black friends that you have because of how much we've had to take, just even in this short little period of time since the pandemic, or right before the pandemic. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. If you just think about all that, it's just a few months. And there's plenty more that you haven't heard about. Where are you? Where are your outcries for justice for your black friends? Where's your outpouring of love and concern about how your black friends are doing? Do we need that? Do we need to be consoled? No, we don't need to. Does it have to be that way? No, it doesn't have to. But we appreciate our lives, and and I'm sure you appreciate the fact that you don't have to deal with this stuff. And so, shouldn't you want to reach out to one of us and say, or some of us, and say, hey, I hope you're doing okay, man. This is a tough time for black folks. Anything? Or are you going to be like the guy who I keep on forgetting to finish the story? The guy who was in that thing that I was talking with these guys on Sunday and Monday, and they keep on trying to deny everything and think that we've had all the jobs and all this stuff from Trump and all this stuff that they keep saying. And this guy is like, I grew up in a... Check this out. I have to look him up anyways. But he says he grew up at some certain point of his life where 85% of the population of where he lived was black people, and so he was the minority. And he told me that I am wrong because I don't think or believe that that's the same as being a black person living in black skin in the world. I'm in the wrong for expressing things this way because he believes, since he had that situation for a time period, for a little season, he believes that he's in touch and can understand completely what black folk are going through, and that it's not that bad. That we're just trying to be victims. Well, just saying that stuff shows that you really don't have a clue. And whatever environment that you lived in, it must not have been so bad. So maybe black people didn't treat you as bad as white people treat us. The point is that regardless of that, it is impossible. Let me be fair with this statement. I cannot explain the white experience because I'm not white. As much as I know plenty of white folks, let me repeat, my mom is white, my daughter looks white, my baby's mama, my daughter's mom is white, one of my brother's baby's mama is white, and his wife is white. Let's see, I'm sure all of us had white girls back in high school. Yeah, one of my other brothers has like 12 babies mamas, and he's got like a bunch of, they're all white. Well, not all of them, but anyways. But the point is that so this is not a I hate white people thing. This is nothing like that. But let me be clear. Even though my own mother is white, I don't know what it is to walk around being white. So it don't matter if you embrace black culture. It doesn't matter if you embrace hip-hop music. It don't matter if you love Bobby Brown or whoever. That doesn't matter that you have a loving or caring opinion. But it is very entitled for any white person to say, and yes, I am pointing, it is entitlement that, and false entitlement for any white person to say you understand what it is that a black person is going through when they tell you it. It is entitled, disrespectful, and even hateful for you to sit around saying you know what it's like to be in black skin. Because you don't. Can you have a reasonable understanding based on just a little bit of logic? Sure. That's surface area. That's not within, not surface area, I'm sorry. That's the surface. That's not the inside. That's not the inner workings. It's impossible until somebody creates something like, you know how they have in those comic books where a person can actually, do some crazy stuff and go inside of somebody else. Unless your name is Casper the Ghost, you can't go through and in somebody and walk around as them. It's impossible. I know. Look, I remember on Saturday Night Live, and Eddie Murphy and a couple other people did the whole thing where they like do the funny sketches. They wanted to see what it would be like to walk around as a white person. And they couldn't even get the makeup right to make them look all the way white, but they did close enough, and just to get people's responses, and faking, making fun of walks and whatever else, just whatever satire. And so, but even then, you're only getting like a little taste of what it is to be white. But for any white person to say, I know what it's like, then if you do know what it's like, if you really can perceive it, if you're that good, and I don't think God gave any of us that. He gave Jesus that, and that's about it. That's where it ended. But if you're that good, and you know that you can unequivocally say that you know what it's like to be black in America. If you can say that, then you should be just as mad and heartbroken and disgusted and sad and irate as I and we are. And just the mere fact that you're not just as mad, just as upset, speaking out just as hard, standing with us just as much, fighting against racism, standing against the Trump crap, if just because of that mere fact that you're not doing any of those things means that you do not understand what it is to be black in America. This is not a joke. This is not make-believe. This is not made up. This is not pretend, get some attention. This is not play the race card. This literally is one thing and one thing only. It's racism in this country, and it's bad. It's a mandemic, as I say, a humandemic. This is really happening. We are getting murdered for nothing. Let me say the last thing before. Remember, look, you got what's his name again? Dylan Roof murders 9 black people in the Emmanuel AME church, and they, after he murders 9 people, they arrest him without incident and take him to the drive-thru to McDonald's and get him a damn snack. But this young man, 3 days ago, all he wants to do is get away from the chaos and get to his children, and he gets shot in the back 7 times. He didn't hurt nobody. He wasn't a threat to anybody. But Dylan Roof kills 9 black people that are Bible studying, and he gets a snack at Burger King. And we're not supposed to be mad. I'm not supposed to be upset, right? I'm supposed to shut up about this. I'm not supposed to talk about this anymore because I'm supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to get over it. Even though it's happening literally now every 4 or 5 days. Week at most. You guys don't even see all of them. You know, one of the things that I do during the week is I study all of these things that are still happening, the outrage that is still happening, the incidents that are still happening. Trust me, a week ago, there was a guy in a prison, or I don't know if it was county jail, whatever. It looked like kind of a county jail type of scenario. And he was in county jail, and he was having seizures. And what did they do? They locked him up. The guy covered his mouth. There's supposed to be these procedures that they use, but that's not what they did. They took it to a level way too far, and they killed him. The guy covered his face up, and he was spasming, and they murdered this guy at the county jail. He didn't even have time to get arraigned. He didn't even have time to get a judgment. He didn't even have time to post a bail. He didn't even have time to do anything. Look, just because somebody commits some kind of crime doesn't mean that they deserve murder, because you're not murdering murderers. When somebody murders somebody, why aren't you murdering them? You're just murdering the person that talks back to you, or you're murdering the person that walks away from you. But when a person murders 9 black people at a Bible study, then that person deserves to have no incident and be arrested and detained and taken to lunch. Or the guy can go into the movie theater, shoot up a bunch of folk, injure a bunch of folk, 13 murders, 58 injured, and then after he does that, he can just walk out to his car, drive into an intersection, turn himself in without incident, and then he lives. He's called crazy by a judge, and they won't even put him on trial like that, and he just gets to live in the system as a sick person. But a guy walks away from the police because he wasn't involved in the incident that they were called to, the disturbance that they were called to in the beginning. He tries to break the situation up. Instead, he gets caught in the middle of it by the police, who automatically determine that he's the bad guy, but he wasn't. And then he wants to get away from the situation and get back to his kids who are in the car. And what happens to him? He gets shot and paralyzed. I see a lot of you guys coming on and popping off, logging in, logging out. I don't know if what I'm saying you don't agree with, but it's facts. So I literally have to be rude this time. I'm usually nice in the threads, but I don't care if you don't believe me because it's the truth. You're taking black lives and you're cheapening the lives. You're cheapening our lives. You're saying that if we walk away from you because we're black, you can just kill us. But a white person can go on a damn murder spree and you'll take them to lunch before you even get them booked in. So let me ask you a question. So if and I'm not a murderer, but if I went outside right now and say I just vandalized some stuff, y'all gonna give me a free meal? If I go smash the window in the white person's house down the street, do I get a couple tacos? Because the white kid, who's 17 or whatever, he went and shot, killed, murdered 9 black people in Bible study, and they took him to Burger King for a value meal. Do I get a value meal if I do something wrong? Do I get a without incident? Look, let me read them to you again. Hold on. Since you think I'm just spouting off, maybe, let me do it again. James Rupert, in his own house, kills 11 family members on Easter holiday in 1975. I just want to give you an example of how long this stretches back. It goes way back further than that, but I'm just going to start where you might remember. Maybe your parents are that old. I don't know. James Rupert kills 11 family members, and he gets looked at as he gets arrested without incident, and then he is diagnosed whatever, mentally not able to